This is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the Everblack podcast.
Hey, humans, Carl, this is Odorous from Quad.
Going to the Fear Factory.
This is George Corshunter Fisher.
This is Gas from Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
Mike Nick from Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13. This is Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary Lee from Sepultura. You're listening to Everblack Podcast.
Before we go into this episode of the Everblack podcast, we just need to give a shout out to our show supporters, the occult clothing brand Electric Witch, who have amazing apparel from shirts to hoodies to hats to beanies, dresses and more. Check out their full range at electricwitch.com.au and put in the code Everblack for 20% off your order. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the Everblack podcast on Spotify and iTunes podcast streams, and see all our video interviews on the Everblack YouTube channel. You can also read all our articles and reviews at everblack.com.au. All right, on with the show. Jason, thanks for joining us on the show, brother. How's everything going in your part of the world down south there near Antarctica?
Good, man. Good. Really well. Keep me very busy. It's, summer's just started, but the weather's gotten really crappy down here. It's
really?
Bucketing rain. Yeah, it's been nuts. We had some really, really sick weather, and then it's like as soon as summer starts, the rain starts, and it gets pretty wild down here.
It's been really hot up here, like stinking.
Yeah,
we're getting that heat wave that everyone's talking about. So we need some of that.
It's been hot up there for the last 500,000 years.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, like, let's just keep it at this, not hotter.
Yeah.
Not like last time. But of course, Psycroptic, you guys have been pretty busy despite everything that's been going on. You've just released this awesome 2-track EP. That's The Watcher of All. Man, it's incredible, and it's all building up to a new album, or what do you guys planned?
So we wanted to, since we weren't touring, obviously with all the craziness that's going on around the world, we're all homebound. So we wanted to get something released, because we knew, obviously, working on an album was going to take us quite some time to actually get it all written and recorded. So we're kind of like, all right, let's do something different. We recorded the first 2 songs, which was Fragile Existence and Watcher of All. So we thought, let's just get those songs totally finished and put them out as an EP to just sort of bridge that time, just sort of keep things moving, keep the momentum going while we're not on tour, because it's been quite a while now since we've been on the road. So, we just wanted to sort of, bridge that waiting time between, As a Kingdom Drowns and the album that we're working on at the moment. So, the response to it's been really good. But we're at the moment, we're just flat out into getting the full length written. We're a fair way into that and sort of tracking and recording as we go.
That's awesome, dude. It's so exciting. The world needs more Psycroptic, that's for sure. We've been waiting, we've been hanging, and of course, you got Jason Kaiser from Origin on the one of the tracks too. That's sick.
To us, it seems like it was sort of the right thing to do at the right time, because I've got a couple of kids, so I can do most of the touring with the band, but it does get to the point sometimes where we've been out for, away for a month, or then home for a few weeks, away for a month, and that gets a bit full on. So sometimes Kaiser he'll fill in on vocals for me live on tours. So we just kind of got to the point where we're in the studio now, let's get him involved. So he didn't do any of the writing for it, but we just wanted to get his voice on there and see how mine and his voice work together, because we do have quite different styles, I suppose you'd say. But as soon as we sort of got the samples back and we put the 2 voices together, it worked really well, and we thought, yep, let's run with it. So we were stoked with how it came out. Kaiser was happy. was nice for him as well. You know, he's been out and done a whole bunch of tours over, I don't know, the last 5 years or something, 4 years. So it was nice to actually get him involved in the process of an album for a change as well. You know, someone that's put in the hard work to help sort of, you know, keep the band moving and stuff. It was, you know, it was nice to get him involved in the other side of things like the creative process and stuff.
Have you guys ever jumped on stage together and done it together?
We did actually, because funnily enough, I mean, Kaiser's, you know, he's one of the crew. We're like really, really good friend of ours. So often when we go out on tour, he actually comes out, if he's not out with Origin or merch or anything for other bands, he'll come out and do merch for us, drive for us, help us on the road. So yeah, we were actually in, where was it? We were playing a festival. I think it was in Canada somewhere, and it was the last show of a run. And next thing, Kaiser jumped up during Observant. I didn't know. Obviously, they had it planned out because there was a mic there for him to grab. So yeah, we did that together. It was great. It was really fun. So I mean, hopefully, who knows when we'll be out on the road again. But I mean, it'd be really cool if, yeah, you know, have us both doing our thing, dual vocals for shows. You know, be great fun.
That would be epic. Is there footage of that somewhere? Have you seen footage of it?
Don't know. I'm guessing it'd be on YouTube. I think everything that happens is it's online somewhere now. So someone's had the old smartphone out in the crowd. I mean, I don't think I've played a show in the last 5 years where you haven't got like 10 people in the front like this watching it through their smartphone. So
oh man,
yeah. So I'm sure it'd be up there somewhere.
So was there a concept that you were running with for the 2 tracks for the EP?
It wasn't originally planned to be like a concept thing. I suppose it's a like follow on from As the Kingdom Drowns. It's sort of got that, I suppose, looking at, you know, climate change and things like that and the impact that's having, but I suppose spinning it in my own way. So yeah, I mean, the whole new album's, it's very much continuation on from, you know, the sort of lyrical themes of As the Kingdom Drowns, that sort of apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, you know, we're not doing a very good job looking after the world type, you know. I suppose looking at the world through my eyes, my opinions on stuff and the way I see the way the world's going these days.
So musically though, will it follow that same sort of direction?
To an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent. There's the new album, it's definitely sort of grabbing onto the ideas that we were playing with, yeah, musically and lyrically from As the Kingdom Drowns, and I think just pushing it that bit further, throwing, you know, experimenting more. There's going to be, you know, still lots of groove, big epic choruses, but a bit of something else thrown in there. You know, Joe Haley, he's a mastermind on the guitar, and he's an incredible songwriter. So he's been sending me through demo tracks constantly for the last few months, and everything I've heard, it just blows my mind every time. So yeah, then we've been doing a lot of pre-production at the moment and stuff, and just hearing everything starting to slowly build up to, you know, come to what it's probably going to end up kind of sounding like. It's, yeah, I think it's going to be a really good album.
Is there
very strong album.
Is there a name like that you're bouncing around, you know?
Nah, we haven't. I've got lyrics written for the majority of it, but I haven't actually named any of the songs yet. We sort of, that side of it usually sort of comes, I suppose, at the end of the process. So once it's all down, I suppose we try to read through the lyrics, catch a vibe, see what's the strongest songs, and sort of go with something there.
Do you find that it's sort of, the album tells you what it wants to be called, or the songs want to tell you? You know what I mean? It's some weird thing where they name themselves.
Well, we had it with As the Kingdom Drowns with that album. That was my sort of idea, I mean, that was the title of one of the songs, obviously. And to me, I was thinking, I think that's going to be what I'm going to throw in as what I think should be the title for the album. I mentioned it to Todd. Todd was like, yeah, I was sort of thinking that'd be a strong name for it. And then, oh, sorry, hang on.
You're right.
Okay. This is my daughter going to bed. Yeah, but and then I spoke to Dave, and Dave's like, I think the album should be called As the Kingdom Drowns. And we're like, all right, sweet. It's kind of like where everyone's gone with it. So that's what it's going to be. You know, with the self-titled album, I think that was musically, lyrically, everything that was very much, I suppose, a point in our career where our sound was starting to really take fast steps in the evolution of it and stuff. So I think the like having that as a self-titled was, to us, seems like the right thing to do. So yeah, I suppose so. In a way, yeah, I suppose to answer your question, it's the album titles do just sort of, I suppose, just come about.
Weird how
Yeah,
it can be any.
yeah, definitely.
Definitely know that one, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know, touring is something that's very important to Psycroptic, especially internationally. Have you been missing the road over the last,
Yes.
you know, or have you sort of been enjoying
Well,
this time away to?
it's been a weird one. I mean, I have times where I think, oh, you know, miss the road, miss playing live, I miss like hanging out with the guys in the band, because I mean, me and Joe are the only two that live here in Tassie. Dave lives in Melbourne and Todd lives in New Jersey. So we haven't actually seen each other in over a year.
Wow.
So I kind of, that's probably a big part I miss about it, is, you know, they're my best mates and we have a great time hanging out together. And, you know, we spend a lot of time together usually. So I'm definitely missing hanging out, you know, with the crew and, you know, the guys that work for us on the road and stuff. So that's definitely something I'm missing. Playing live, definitely. But on the other hand, it's nice to have some time at home, spend, you know, means we've got more time on the creative process with writing. It's not just shit, we've got 3 months off tour, 4 months off tour, we got to get this album done, you know. So it means we can spend a bit more time on that side of it. It's nice to be not living in airports and vans and stuff all the time. So it's got its pros and cons. I mean, this is definitely, since I joined the band like 16 years ago, nearly 17 years ago.
Yeah, it's been that long.
This is the longest I've been at home in one hit. You know, I haven't left my little island now for well over a year. So it's different, but you know, it's got its pros and cons. Definitely, spending a lot more time with my kids is great too. So
Yeah,
they're happy to have me around more. That's for sure.
was there one last show on the last run you did that was the most memorable? That when you look back, because you guys played tons of shows, but was there one show?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, Hellfest was,
yeah, that
you know, that was I didn't do the last tour that Psycroptic actually did, strangely.
Oh, okay.
It was a US, yeah, that was a US run. So that was Kaiser on that. Yeah, I didn't go on that because we'd been basically hitting the road for probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 months. Obviously having time off in between, but it was, you know, it was a pretty full on time from when the album was released. So I had to sit the last tour out. So I think the last shows I did was an Australian run, but before that we did a festival run out in Europe, and Hellfest was probably the most memorable of the last sort of handful of shows that we did. That was incredible experience playing a festival that big, and we hadn't done European festivals in quite a few years. So it was nice to get out and, you know, do some of those big crowds, and, you know, the response was really good. It was the middle of summer in somewhere in France, some small town where
I remember that lineup, dude. That was crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see Emperor. That was awesome. Gojira, who else was like King Diamond,
What?
Slayer, Testament, I think were on it. No, Testament were on it. Yeah, there was some really killer stuff, and then like Dareside, Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, it was pretty much, it was an awesome lineup, really. So
That's insane. I mean, that's insane.
yeah,
I mean, you guys have toured with a bunch of great bands throughout the years, you know, and
yeah, definitely.
festivals and everything. Has there been one band that you guys have sort of buddied up with? You know, that one band that you got your bro band.
Probably Black Dahlia Murder. I mean,
dude.
they're definitely one. We've done Australia with them twice, done Europe with them, done America with them. Another band that I suppose probably these days the band we're the tightest with would probably have to be like Revocation.
Oh yeah, sick.
Yeah, so Todd, our bass player, he used to tour manage them, drive, do merch. So he was basically on their crew, and was actually through Brett from Revocation how we came across Todd originally. So we'd never met Todd until he was playing with us on the other side of the world. Yeah, so we needed it was a tour I wasn't going on because it was like a last minute, just I can't remember who it was. It was with Whitechapel or someone like that, I think. And
yeah,
they had a direct support drop out at the last minute, and they hit us up and they're like, "You guys have got visas and stuff, you know, you keen to come out." And I couldn't do it at that last minute, so I think that was Kaiser went out there, and we asked Brett from Revocation to play bass. And he said he couldn't do it because he had other commitments. And then he said, my housemate Todd, he'd probably be keen. You know, and we're like, all right, you reckon he can do it? Is he cool? We get along. They're like, you'll love him. He's a great player. And yeah, he toured with us doing session stuff for probably 3 years. And then eventually Cam was never going to come back. And it was like, all right, this makes sense. Let's just put him in full time. And yeah, so it was through Revocation that we actually met our bass player. They teed that up. So but we've done a bunch of stuff with them over the years as well. So yeah, we're really tight with those guys. King Parrot's another one.
Yep.
They're really, really good friends of ours. So we've done a lot of stuff with them, and I keep in touch with Youngie fairly well. And yeah, those guys are crazy. Good dudes to hang out with on the road. Always a laugh.
Yeah, I could imagine it'd be pretty crazy with those guys. Good guys. All good,
Yeah, they are.
dudes you've mentioned. So
yeah, it's funny. You watch them on stage, and they're just like total maniacs, and then you get them off stage, and they're just big cuddly teddy bears. You know, really, really good, nice guys.
the metal thing, though. You know,
Yeah,
I get that a lot. A lot of people go, "Yeah, he's so nice," and you get up there, and I'm just like, I just what we do.
Do what I do. Yeah,
That's it. Eh?
it was like a company I used to work for years ago. The guy that owned the company, I was always off work on tour and stuff like that, and he knew what I did, knew it was extreme metal and stuff, but he'd never actually seen me play or heard the music or anything. And we were doing a local show down here. I said to him, come along, I'll put you on the guest list and stuff. He's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, come on, you got to come check out what it is that I do when I take all this time off from work, you know. All right. Okay. And so he came out, and as soon as I got off stage and I saw him, he's like, oh my God, you're like split personalities. He said, at work, you're all, she'll be right, it's all good. You know, not a worry in the world. And he said, you get up there and you do that, you're like a madman. Yeah, you know, it's all just showmanship, really.
It's true, but I mean, it does. I think it also comes from an honest place that a lot of dudes in metal, that you put it aside, and then when it's time to unleash that, and you just
you give it,
and you put it back.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you put a few hundred or a few thousand or whatever people in front of you, you know, that are all pumped up and drunk and going crazy. You know, you can't help but sort of, you know, really feed off that sort of thing. So that's why we've always been a band. I mean, doing big shows is great, but you know, a rammed in club show, you know, small venue but oversold, packed, you know, you can't beat it for the energy that you get out of those small rooms, and you always perform at your absolute peak, I think, under those situations.
Oh, best. You know, if you could bottle it, man, like it would just be Man, imagine that in an energy drink. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Talking about bottling stuff, bit of a segue. Bump & Co. You got your hot sauce. Man,
Yeah.
I'm keen to try it. How brutal is it on a scale?
I haven't actually seen it yet.
Oh, really?
No.
Shout out to Dicey.
Yeah. No, you just actually made me think, because Dave just gave me store credit for the direct merch website, so I could order my copies of the new EP and some of the bundle shirts and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
I didn't think to order the hot sauce now, did I?
Get
him that order's been sent.
Oh, hook the man up. Hook the man up with hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get some. We had a different one made over in the States on a tour last year, and that was, I think we ended up going through about 6-8 bottles of it just in the tour van, just between me and Todd. It was bloody getting on everything.
Do you like it really spicy? Is it like really hot?
Yeah,
or mild.
I think from what Dave told me, the one that we've got in stock at the moment with direct merch, it's apparently it's real full on.
Oh, really?
So I'm pretty eager to try it.
Yeah. I'm keen to give it a go.
Get on it.
Yeah, that's it. Film myself eating it with my head exploding. You know.
Well, that's what I was saying, because Todd, our bass player, he's like hot sauce mad. Like you see him, he gets up in the morning and be a bit hungover, and he'll grab a bottle of hot sauce out of the fridge and And I said, we got to get you to film yourself like just chugging a whole bottle of this stuff. It probably wouldn't even affect him because he's just a maniac with it, but
that's insane.
Give it a go.
So was that interview? There's that interview show where they're in the hot wings. They get Henry Rollins.
I haven't seen that.
Look that up. Henry Rollins eating the hot wings, and his face is just.
People are trying to concentrate on keeping a conversation, and they're just
and it
dying.
gets hotter and hotter, and you just see Henry just his face goes. The old Henry when he's on stage and he's like his neck's yeah. Check it out.
Oh, that's hilarious. I remember my wife bought me these Carolina Reaper chilies.
Oh,
I didn't realize that they were like. I just thought they were like habaneros or something. Just by the look of them, I didn't read what they were.
Oh, man.
I chopped a few up, and I made a pizza, and I put it on this pizza. And I was sitting at the table with my wife and one of her friends, eating this pizza, having a conversation. And after a while, it was like just killing me. And I'm trying to hold this conversation. In the end, I had to put the pizza down. I had like 5 bits or something. And I was just like sweating, eyes felt like bleeding and stuff. And I'm like, I can't even talk. This is like really, really fucking me up. And then my wife's friend, she's like, I've got to try a bit. I'm intrigued. You did 5 bits before you died. So she had 1 piece, and we were both ruined for the whole weekend. My stomach, I was like, fuck, how do these people do this, like chili eating comps and stuff? Like, must kill them for days.
That's what I want to know. What's the point? What's the heat point where it ends up where you go on a journey out into the desert, chasing a coyote?
Yeah.
Kicking a toe.
Yeah.
Where's that?
I don't know. You'd have to be so hardcore to like be able to just push through that pain barrier to get there, I think,
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. All the beers. Talking about beers, I'm having a beer now. What about Psycroptic beers? Is there
I don't think there's ever really been any talk of doing that. So, don't know. I mean, I'm sure it'll eventually come up. Dave Haley's he's a bit of a slap the brand on whatever he thinks he can get done really well. So, and I don't know.
I think it's a cool idea. I mean,
yeah, I've seen actually quite a few bands are starting to do that stuff now. I just don't know what the logistics of it with selling alcohol and
Mm,
shipping around. I don't know. I just leave all that stuff up to Dave. He's the mastermind behind that.
Dave,
I
beers.
just,
Psycroptic
yeah,
beers.
I just write words and draw
It's-
pictures.
Oh,
That's my
man. Well, I mean,
my skill set.
you guys have got some really good merch, though. I mean, you've got
Yeah,
the skate decks. You've had the masks that have been really popular as well. You know,
yeah. I saw those online. We did trackies. Dave sent me some track pants
Yeah.
out a few months ago, and yeah, actually, what else did I get recently? What did he send me? It was a coffee mug
oh,
with
cool.
the artwork of the new EP on it. That was really cool. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I suppose with Dave running a online merch, or what do you call it, merch stall or something. Yeah, he gets creative with it all. I suppose he sees what stock he's getting from other bands. Goes, wow, I could do that. That'd be cool. So we've always been pretty big on the merch thing. Like I actually owned a screen printing company for
Oh, cool.
a few years. Yeah, so I used to screen print all our merch and stuff for a lot of bands around the country for probably about 3 years or something. So we really went deep into having a lot of merch at that time because we could get it produced so cheap.
That's cool.
kept me in work when I wasn't on the road. So yeah, but I mean, merch has always been a big thing for metal bands because it's basically where you make enough money to actually not come home totally broke.
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
But here's the thing about you guys that I respect is that you're big supporters of charities and give a lot back to the community as well. You know, you've been raising money for like the bushfire appeal in the past.
Yeah.
Tassie Devils from Extinction. You know, so I've got a huge respect for that. You know, not many people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if you've got some form of platform to stand on and you know somewhere that you can you can use the position that you've got to do some good in the world, you know, be silly not to, really.
Absolutely.
Especially, I mean, the thing with the Tasmanian Devil thing, I mean, the way we looked at it, you know, I mean, it's the iconic thing from the island that we're all from, and you know, we've always been referred to as the Tasmanian Devils. You know, there's been Tassie Devils on fuck knows how many of our shirt designs and album, you know, tour promo and stuff like that. And you know, when they were looking at extinction, it's like, well, I mean, we can't do a huge part to help, but you know, if we can do something to help, you know, and we did a show locally where we raised, I don't know, it was about $3,000 or something, because obviously doing it in Tassie, you know,
Yeah, man.
everyone was all cool, put their hands in the pockets. We sent one of our mates who was the biggest dude in the venue. We sent him around with a charity bucket, you know, between songs, and people were just filling it with money, you know, and it was the whole thing. I mean, it was a fun thing, especially to do locally here, you know, and yeah, we raised enough money to sponsor one of the Devils that was going into the breeding repopulation program. So, you know,
did they name it after you guys? Was it?
Yeah, they named it Psycho.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we actually went because they were running the breeding repopulation program. It was up in New South Wales, and we contacted, when we were on tour, actually, we contacted the wildlife park that actually ran it, and we were like, can we go and see our devil? And they're like, no, it's not at the wildlife parks, you know, it's out, you know, out bush somewhere. And they said, but come into the wildlife park, you know, get some photos taken with some of the Tassie Devils they had there, and gave us a bit of a tour around, and, you know, explained to us where our money was getting spent and stuff. So that was, I mean, the whole thing was a really good experience. And it's nice to be able to, especially within Tasmania, being able to give back to the state that we hold so dear, I suppose you'd say.
Absolutely. I think it's a brilliant thing you guys have been doing. And of course, I mean, your art is awesome too, which I've seen.
Oh, cheers.
Dude, I love it. It's amazing. Do you find that it's a different sort of mental process than writing
Oh, big time.
lyrically?
Big
Like you
time.
have to switch?
Yeah. I find with it, I find I'm either really productive with music or really productive with art. So it's like kind of, yeah, you got to kind of switch out. Like I find if I'm, because I like to keep creative all the time, I like to, each night I'm either wanting to write music, do art, something productive like that and creative. But I do find that if I'm sort of in the mindset of doing art, I find it, if I try to, put the drawing tablet down and write some music, kind of find it really hard. But I also find if I'm trying to write, I'm not getting anywhere with it. It's like, all right, put down the lyrics for a couple of days, do some artwork, clear the head out that way, then go back to the lyrics for a few days. And so I do switch between the two, but I do find I can't do the two disciplines side by side, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Because it is definitely getting you, even though I suppose both you're trying to create something conceptually, but it's I suppose a totally different process I go through with it.
It fascinates me, dude, because I mean, lyrically, I understand where that sort of comes from, but I can't draw. I'm not artistic at all. I wish I was, man. I see your stuff, and I just wish I could do that. Like it's
Yeah,
but
I actually just got into it only a couple of years ago, strangely as well. Yeah, so when I was, it all, I suppose, stems from back when I was screen printing. I obviously had to learn to use Photoshop really well with, artwork setups and stuff, and then stepping into doing basic graphic design for people's like t-shirt backs and, putting some text and maybe a emblem or something. I kind of found a bit of a love for it there. And then when I stopped screen printing, I still found I enjoyed playing around on Photoshop, and I just like grab images and just color separate them and stuff. And then after a while, I was kind of like, why don't I get a drawing tablet and, start just tinkering around and see what I can do. And after, I don't know, probably 3 months of just absolute disasters and things that looked like absolute garbage, I suppose I started to find my style, and I followed a lot of tutorials. And
yeah,
I mean, when I did sort of really find my way with it, I did go very deep, and I was spending 5-6 hours a day just wanting to get better and better and better and better and better. And especially being on tour a lot, there was a lot of downtime, so I had a lot of time to practice. So yeah, really, it was a long, I suppose, a lot of time spent learning, but it's got to the point now where I feel pretty comfortable with what I'm doing with it, and I'm glad I put the time in. That's for sure.
dude, the thing that blows my mind is I didn't know it was digital. I thought it was all by hand. I was like,
yeah,
man,
nah, it's all. I got one of those Surface Pro tablet PC hybrids, and yeah, you just got like a stylus touch sensitive pen and just do it all on the Photoshop screen.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's got to come. That's what I mean. Lyrics, art. It comes from somewhere. I know you say like practice is important and everything like that, but still, some people have just got them within them, and then they've just
you've got to have, I suppose, that mindset of being able to create things conceptually. Yeah. But I've always been, I suppose, with my lyrics, I've got a solid concept in mind usually when I'm writing, but I kind of try to make it a bit abstract in the way that people can, I suppose, take their own meaning from it. A lot of people might read it and see it from the point of view that I wrote it, but then other people might read it and go, no, I think he's talking about this or whatever. And I very much take the same approach with my art, I suppose you'd say. Like, I have an idea, but it's kind of like you're giving glimpses of it, but you don't want to reveal or just be too obvious with the whole thing, I suppose you'd say. if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. But do you have to be in a certain frame of mind, or do you have something? Because I know you've got the really dark stuff, and then you've got like amazing pictures of like your dogs and birds and natural stuff. Like they're total contrast, man. Like
yeah, I suppose
you've got to be in a certain,
mindset for it. I don't know. I found doing the birds and stuff was really, I suppose, working on some quite dark sort of stuff with lyrically and stuff with Psycroptic, and it was, I suppose, trying to find that balance. I suppose not trying to. I don't know, how would I describe it? Like, you go down the dark path writing the lyrics and stuff, and it's kind of, you got to balance it out with something a little bit pretty. Nature's always a thing that I suppose inspires me. I get a lot of, like, I live in a fairly bush area where I am, so we got a lot of wildlife around here, a lot of like cockatoos and rosellas just flying into the backyard all the time, and it's kind of like, wow, actually got some like pinks and stuff in my last piece of art I did. Like, I did a galah, so yeah, I suppose it's just that balancing thing. You can't be just creating dark, morbid shit constantly. It's got to be bad for your brain at some point.
But I mean, it's incredible, man. I'm not just saying that. Like, I'm a big fan of your art. So,
cheers.
Yeah, when I saw it come out, man, like, and holding it, man.
Yeah,
people.
That's right. You printed it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was it was something special. So, yeah, it was cool.
Have you made some for yourself?
No, I wouldn't do that, because I don't know.
Go for it. Run it off. Put it up on your walls in your little office there.
I almost did. I was like, oh, this one's really cool. I might put it up above my desk, but
I will.
I've got
you've got the
all right, cool. I'm
gonna get the okay from me. You got it on video.
Thanks, Bob. Well, I mean, of course, as things seem to be slowly going back to normal, fingers crossed. Some festivals and stuff are being announced. What's your thoughts of that? Happening soon. Do you think that we're coming out of the worst of it all now?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. And I mean, down here, everything's been so normal for so long. We watch the news and you see all the crazy shit that's going on around the world. But down here, it's kind of like, fuck, it's just everyday thing. So I suppose it's hard for me to get a gauge on how things are going a little bit, I suppose, in the real world. But I think at this stage, it is going to be really hard for bands with touring and stuff, just due to the fact there's so much outlay with flights and accommodation, all the costs that are involved and the outlay involved around touring, that if a tour's booked and then all of a sudden, we're meant to be going, I don't know, who knows where, somewhere, do a European tour, and then you get things go crazy in Europe, and then you got to cancel, and then all your money's down the drain, and it's a hard one. I mean, I think at this stage we're probably not looking at touring any time in the next at least few months.
Yeah.
I suppose we're just sort of playing it by ear, I suppose, because we don't want to get stuck in another part of the world and have to be quarantined in hotels for weeks and all that. So, I mean, who knows, really? Hopefully we may be able to get out at least around Australia sometime next year. But then at the same token, something we sort of spoke about only a week or two ago was, we don't want to play seated gigs. We don't want to play like gigs where you might have a 600 capacity room, but you're only allowed to have 100 people in there or something. It's kind of like it's all or nothing, really. We don't want to come back and do half-ass shows. We want to come back. We want to do shows.
Probably.
We want an energy-filled room. Obviously things won't probably go back to having venues as sold as with the capacities and stuff as what it was before, but we at least want there to be enough people in there to make it a good experience for everyone. You know what I mean? A band's always going to perform better in a more crowded room. You know, a seated gig to us seems like a waste of fucking time unless you're playing with an orchestra or something insane like that, which I don't see Psycroptic doing anytime soon.
You know what? That would be kind of cool at the same time.
It would be. It would be. I don't know how we'd ever get the finances to pull something like that off, but it would be a nice experience. It'd be very fun. But yeah, so we're kind of at the point where we're like, you know, if we're gonna go out touring, it's got to be a sure thing that you know actually going to happen. We don't want to get all hyped up to do a tour and then it has to get cancelled, or we get stuck somewhere, or you know, any of that sort of shit going on. So I suppose time will tell. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that are taking a punt in booking tours, and you know, there's festivals that are announcing that they're going to go ahead next year and stuff. I suppose we'll just have to keep an eye on how all that's going to work with other bands, rather than be the guinea pig that rushes out there and has a crack for ourselves. So,
and I really hope so. I mean, you know, hopefully we can all start going to shows and enjoying it very soon.
Oh,
I mean, I want to see you guys come back here to Queensland. Bruce-O.
Yeah, well, I mean, Australia is probably going to be the most likely thing that we'd be doing next year, but
yeah,
you know, who knows? I mean, a big thing, one of our members lives in the States. We don't know how we'd go about, you know, if we're going to be able to get him even into the country. And you know, there's a lot of, I mean, logistically touring was a fucking nightmare to, you know, when things were normal, but now,
insane.
There's a lot of extra stuff people have got to think about now as well. So yeah, so I think, I mean, at this stage we're just planning, recording, writing, studio stuff, do releases, get creative. I think a big thing we're really looking at changing up with all this, you know, time off the road is we've always been we spoke about this so much over the years. Like, we've always been a band that's really shit with doing video clips and content and stuff. You know, with us, it's always just been get an album out, hit the road, and that's what we do, you know. So we never were really big at filling the stuff in between, you know, the video stuff, the interviews, all, you know, everything that comes through with the playthroughs and that. So we're really sort of talking about getting more active on that side of things. I suppose, you know, the internet is something that's a bigger thing, especially more than ever now. Video content's such, I suppose, a crucial thing for bands that want to keep their careers going, essentially. So we did 2 clips over the last few weeks, which that was kind of an interesting process, the way we did those. We had to shoot it ourselves, and we're all in different studios, and yeah, that was a bit interesting. But we really we proved with the first one that we did with A Fragile Existence, the end result came out well. It didn't look like we'd all shot with different cameras in different rooms with different, you know, it all matched up well. So we thought, all right, we'll give it another go. And we did The Watcher of All. And after that, we were kind of like, all right, well, maybe this is something we can make work more as well. So that's probably, video clips and stuff like that are going to be something that people will probably be seeing quite a bit more of from us as well.
But that's a good thing, man. Like, because as you're going to have that content rolling out. So by the time you do fully hit the road, it's going to be massive, dude. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, well, that's sort of the hope. I mean,
building up that.
Touring's always been, I suppose, the promotional tool for bands to, you know, the more you tour, the more your name's out there, the more people know about you and stuff. But obviously bands don't have that now, so they're reverting to these online gigs or, you know, playthroughs, video clips, interview, you know, and I suppose that's more the way that fans are interacting with the bands these days. So I suppose we've got to we can't be dinosaurs forever. We've got to try to, I suppose, keep up with the times a little bit to an extent.
But I mean, we've played like about 3 or 4 shows up here in Queensland over the last
Really?
months, man. Like with the limited capacity, and then slowly, man. I gotta say, it wasn't that bad. It was
Really?
weird to begin with.
Yeah, it would be.
It was kind of weird, and then once you get used to it, man, like this, it's still
better
not.
than not playing.
Man, I'd much rather play than not play. But
Yeah.
I do understand where you're coming from, where you get that full energy, man. You know, and it's
Coming
gonna
out
be,
with a bang. You know?
yeah, dude, and it's gonna be insane by the time you guys do. Like everyone's gonna be hanging, especially with like these songs. Everyone's just like, I want to see him live again. You know,
Yeah, and
insane.
that's kind of the hard thing at the moment as well. Like we put a release out, and normally as soon as a release is out, there's shows, and you know, there's all that side of things going on. But we put a release out, and we're like, all right, cool, just stay at home, keep writing for an album. You know, that it's not that kind of, all right, let's go and put this on the stage and unleash it onto the world like in the past. So it's the whole releasing music thing's even like different now for bands just in that respect, you know. But oh well, we've got to keep up with the times.
But man, it's going to be incredible when you do hit the road again. I can't wait, man, especially with the new album and everything you got working on. Your art, man, keep it coming, dude.
Yeah,
keep it coming.
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of time to do that stuff now. That's nice.
And enjoy it. But dude, it's been awesome hanging out with you on the show. The new Psycroptic EP, The Watcher of All, is out now. We'll have all the links down here, as I always say. Dude, enjoy. Yeah, it's down here somewhere, like with the somewhere here.
Yeah,
dude, thank you so much for hanging out on the show. All the best to you and the boys.
Cheers, my pleasure.